Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Lexi Lopez, and I am an advisor with the C21 Growth Markets Department, also serving as the Senior Manager of Awards and Recognition for C21, and lastly, serving my community as a NAREP 10 certified trainer. Welcome to the Century 21 Growth Markets Diversity and Inclusion Agents of Change event, where we will be learning about real estate industry insights presented by Freddie Mac and also hear from an inspirational panel of real estate industry leaders making business and community impacts in the Seattle, Washington real estate marketplace and beyond. We will hear first from Freddie Mac. They are our partners for this wonderful event today. And joining us from Freddie Mac is Monica LaCrue, who is an affordable lending manager and is accompanied by her guest, Robert Nitz, who is a branch manager at Prime Lending. Monica, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Honored to be with you guys today. My name is Monica LaCrue. I'm affordable lending manager with Freddie Mac, and I'm based in the San Diego market. And I'm joined this morning from our friends over at Prime Lending. Robert, do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Awesome. We're going to start today with a little bit of presentation about Freddie Mac, and then Robert's going to come back and join us a little bit later when we talk about some of our affordable product solutions. So again, my name is Monica. I'm affordable lending manager with Freddie Mac, and what I do in my job is educate real estate professionals about our products, services, and tools. We work with real estate brands like Century 21, as well as real estate diverse trade associations as well, like NAREP, RE, and NAREP. So we work with a lot of professionals to give them guidance in working with diverse home buyers and low to moderate income buyers as well. So we're going to start this morning with a little bit about who Freddie Mac is. For those who don't know, we were chartered by Congress in 1970, and we were created to keep money flowing to the mortgage lenders in support of home ownership and rental housing. We operate on what's called the secondary mortgage market, which means we don't lend money directly to consumers. We buy mortgages from our approved lenders. We pull those mortgages into securities, and then we sell the securities to investors worldwide. Our mission is to promote liquidity, stability, affordability, and equality in housing. And we have three main lines of business: our single family, our multifamily, and our capital markets. So at Freddie Mac, we have what we call an all-for-home approach, and we focus on four key pillars that support our industry leadership through our insights, education, mortgage products, and our business solutions. Through our insights, we highlight research studies, thought leadership, speaking opportunities, and data to position our clients and partners for success. We host educational events and trainings like the one you're participating in today to provide tools and resources for professionals to help them prepare buyers for responsible and sustainable homeownership. And we also know that buyers today and in the future are going to have unique needs that require both innovative products and informed advisors to guide them. I'm going to cover a few of our products with you today. They're designed to offer more opportunities for first-time home buyers, the diverse population, and low to moderate income buyers. Now, we know that it takes a broad set of solutions and people from across the housing ecosystem to solve for borrower and industry challenges. And we're leading the charge by developing forward-thinking services, tools, and solutions to expand access and enhance opportunities. And we do that through our business solutions. Now, census data predicts that by 2045, the non-Hispanic white population will shrink to 49.7% and will no longer be the majority population of the United States. The millennial population is also the most diverse population the U.S. has ever seen, and the data that I share with you today will help you prepare to work with these buyers. So first, we're going to start by defining what we call mortgage ready. Now, mortgage ready is a status of potential future borrowers who are under 45 who exhibit certain characteristics as relates to their credit that could qualify them for a mortgage. Now, these definitions are research-based assessments, and they don't relate to our guide or any underwriting criteria. Now, we define mortgage ready as a buyer who has a credit score of 661 or higher, has a debt to income less than 25%, no foreclosures or bankruptcies in the last 7 years, and no severe delinquencies in the past 12 months. Now, if we take a look at this slide, we see that, our data and experts team, they spent a lot of time putting this and aggregating it for us. And they show that 41.1 million Americans are currently mortgage ready. Now, if we look at this chart, we can see here that both Black and Hispanics have a higher share of not currently mortgage ready. Now, you may have encountered these buyers in this category in the past. What are you doing to help prepare them to get ready for homeownership? Some resources that I'm going to cover towards the end of the presentation are going to help you reach these particular buyers. But I see this as an opportunity. Share financial education resources with them, partner with a housing counseling agency that might help them with their credit. Don't dismiss these buyers. We want to make sure that they're becoming part of your buyer pipeline. And they may not be ready now, but what you do and the resources you provide to them will help them get ready and will create a loyal client for you. Now, this slide represents some of the credit concerns for those who are not currently mortgage ready. And I want to draw your attention to the two red circles here. Both Hispanic and Asian buyers have thin credit files. Some may think that thin credit means bad credit, and we know that that's not the case. It simply means that there's not enough established credit. Many minority communities don't value debt and use cash for a lot of their purchases. Some even keep it out of the bank altogether. I know when I was growing up, my dad had what he called a mad money stash that he kept in his closet for emergencies. Now, we know as real estate professionals, that's probably not the best way to be saving your money in case for emergencies. We want it to be in the bank working for us as well. So, as professionals, we want to make sure that we're educating the community and the importance of building credit and utilizing it for their home purchases. I know that we have kids, different trade associations on the call today, NARP in particular, and I know that they're doing great advocacy efforts when it comes to access to credit. So take the resources that these organizations are providing to help prepare your home buyers on their home ownership journey. Now we're going to dive into a little bit of our minority demographics and take a look at some of their communities. First, we're going to look at our Hispanic home buyers. Between 2020 and 2040, 70% of new homeowners are going to be Latino, with a median age of 29.8, meaning that 1 in 3 Latinos are in their prime home buying age right now. In the 10 years leading up to the pandemic, Latinos actually accounted for 50% of the homeownership growth in the US. This trend is expected to accelerate over the next 20 years. There are 8.3 million Latinos under the age of 45 with those credit characteristics that could qualify them for a mortgage. So let's make sure that we're going out to the community and educating them what it takes to be a home buyer so that we can get them on the path to purchase a home. Next, let's take a look at our Black home buyers. Black home buyers are more likely to be younger and single compared to their white counterparts, and they're expected to account for 2 million of the nation's 13.6 million new households between 2015 and 2025. Now, we know that there's a lot of challenges and barriers faced by Black renters across the nation, depending on where they reside. For example, Black renters in the state of New York, affordability and down payment needs are the biggest barriers to homeownership. And on the other hand, Black renters who live in the state of Texas, it's access to credit, which is the biggest barriers to homeownership. Hence, the white-Black homeownership gap is a national issue that's going to require both national and local policy considerations. The last demographic that we'll look at today is our Asian American home buyers. Asian Americans tend to have a higher education level. About 45% of those age 25 and older have a college degree compared to 33% of US adults in the same age range. They also have higher annual income and median household wealth versus all US adults, I'm sorry. Nearly half of US Asians live in the West, about 45%, and about a third of them live in California alone. In 2019, nearly 6 in 10 US-born Asians were members of Generation Z, and about a quarter of US-born Asian populations belong to the millennial generation. This means that the majority of the demographic is younger and are going to be coming into those home buying ages in the next few years. What are you doing to prepare for these types of home buyers, and what are you doing to be able to reach them in your office? Now, again, I wanted to drive home the fact that those who are not currently mortgage ready, those who might have thin credit files, some that might have delinquencies or a debt to income, this is an opportunity for us. We want to make sure that we're providing educational resources to buyers that are kind of on the cusp. We know that the market has changed in the last, 6 to 8 months. It costs more to buy a home now. And so some people that might have been ready are going back to the sidelines and deciding to wait out a little bit. Provide resources to them that are going to keep them engaged in the home buying process, that are going to keep them on those savings plan to continue to save for those down payments, as well as continue to increase their credit score through different avenues. So now we're going to talk, about some of our affordable products. We know that the challenges these demographics are facing and what they're looking for when it comes to shopping for a home. The next few slides are going to cover our affordable products and what are the solutions for these communities in their pursuit for homeownership. So a couple of products that I want to introduce you today is Home Possible. It's a conventional loan that's designed for borrowers with low to very low income who are looking for a low down payment and flexible sources of funds. Now, with Home Possible, a buyer who qualifies can get into a home for as little as 3% down. It allows for non-occupied co-borrowers on a one-unit property and allows for many different types of down payment sources. Some buyers might want to use an employee assistance program that provide, maybe a down payment match, or maybe newlyweds came into, a large sum of money from their wedding. These sources of funds are allowed when using Home Possible. Home Possible does come with an area median income limit, and in order to qualify, potential buyers may need to make less than 80% of the AMI. Freddie Mac does have a nice tool that you can use to help determine what the AMI is in your area, and I'll provide a link to that at the end of the presentation. Now, you may be thinking, okay, what about buyers who make more than the area median, 80% more of the area median income? We thought about that too, and so we created Home One. It's like Home Possible. It's a low down payment product, but this has no income limits. It's for a one-unit property. It's also available on townhomes and condos. One of the borrowers must be a first-time home buyer. First-time home buyer meaning that they have not owned a home in the last 3 years. It's a great product for those first-time millennial home buyers who don't have a lot of down payment and might be making a higher income, again, because of those AMI income limits. So it's a great product for first-time home buyers. We also have HFA Advantage, and it's like Home Possible, but the AMI limits are set by the local state or local HFA. All the borrowers must occupy the home if you wanted to use an HFA Advantage product, and there are some minimum mortgage insurance coverage requirements. Now, in addition to the benefits, I do want to highlight another one. It definitely gets better in my opinion. When most people think of low down payment products, they may be thinking of FHA. Now, FHA is a great product. It's turned many buyers into homeowners. But one big reason why I think Home Possible is a better choice is the cancelable mortgage insurance. Now, when the loan to value is less than 80%, buyers who cancel the mortgage insurance on their loan without having to refinance if they have a Home Possible mortgage. With FHA, the MI stays on for the life of the loan. Now, when the mortgage insurance is eliminated, it can help the home buyer start to build equity faster. And we could definitely see that today with insurance or with mortgage rates jumping almost double within the last 8 months. Getting to a loan that you'll be able to cancel that mortgage insurance is definitely a huge benefit for people who are looking for low down payment products. Now, to help us understand these products a little bit better, I want to bring Robert into the conversation so we can talk about some of these products into a little bit more detail. So, Robert, thank you so much for joining us. Housing supply and affordability continue to challenge low to moderate income buyers nationwide. What are some of the primary borrower challenges that you're seeing at a local level in your market?
Well, I still think that there is an inventory challenge that is actually getting remedied a little bit with the interest rates going up, because we have seen a lot of people kind of get scared out of the market. We've had a little bit of shock happen, but also due to kind of the market conditions, the low to no down payment borrowers have been kind of getting shut out of the market, with cash offers, with high offers over the list price. And that's something actually with the current situation is actually kind of correcting itself. So I actually look at it as a double-edged sword. We don't like the rates going up. We don't like the market stopping like it has, but it actually is good for borrowers that way. And then also the fear from a customer that they can't buy. and that really comes down to
Absolutely.
education. So
Absolutely, educating them on what's needed to get them prepared before they start going out there on that hunt. So, what additional challenges are real estate agents should be aware of when a buyer is seeking down payment assistance programs as part of a loan? And how can an agent best help their borrower get to the finish line using a down payment assistance program?
gotcha. So the perception to a lot of agents, especially listing agents, is that a borrower isn't a strong borrower if they're using a down payment assistance program, which that's inaccurate. If a borrower qualifies, they've come through us as a lender, we get them pre-approved through an underwriter. It's just a different place where their money's coming from. So that's again about educating the listing agent of where the source of the money's coming from. They're as good as any other offer once they're pre-approved. That's the biggest thing that I see on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Money is money, right? When the deal closes, the seller is still going to get all of the money that they've asked for. And working with a knowledgeable loan officer like yourself can definitely help ease that transaction. Do you have any other tips when speaking to a borrower or to a seller about an offer? And how can a buyer be transparent with a DPA?
Well, again, I think it comes to educating the agent, the selling agent involved on the program that we're utilizing, taking that borrower, getting them pre-approved through an underwriter, not just through an automated underwriting system. And then as we present that offer to the listing agent, letting them know the product is there, the borrower is already approved. It's just where their money's coming from. That's the only issue, that we have to get over. And it's about education.
Absolutely. Being transparent about, again, money's money, the transaction's going to close, working with a very knowledgeable loan officer who can bring both the buyer's agent and the seller's agent to the same conversation about the, solidness of the deal is definitely there. But speaking about down payment assistance, there's a lot of programs out there, a lot of resources available that not a lot of people are aware of. How do people go about finding a down payment that's out there? And does Prime Lending have any funds available for buyers who are seeking assistance?
Yes, we do. And that's a great question. So when it comes to down payment assistance, talking to your preferred lender, Google is a great source. You can just down payment assistance through Google, through the local municipalities. That is a great tool. Again, contacting someone like myself, we can go over the products that we offer at Prime Lending, because not every lender offers all of the state, the different programs that are available out there. You've got state bond, Chenoa, specific municipalities have down payment assistance, like with Pasco, Washington, they have a down payment assistance program, $10,000 within the city limits. So need to be aware of what is available out there. Muckleshoot Tribe, Skagit Tribe, they have down payment assistance programs available. And then when it comes to Freddie Mac, they have a great program. It's called Borrow Smart. And that, again, is income driven, but a borrower can get up to $2,500 from Freddie Mac for their down payment, closing costs, buying an interest rate down. Right now, with interest rates being higher, that could help them qualify for that home. And then also, Prime Lending has a CRA or community reinvestment program called Neighborhood Edge that we have that is up to $2,500 assistance. This is for specific areas in Washington State. And there's other states that we do this in as well, but that's an additional $2,500 that a borrower can get for down payment closing costs. And we can actually stack those programs. So we can use Borrow Smart through Freddie Mac and Prime Lending's Neighborhood Edge program, and potentially get a borrower up to $4,500 for their down payment and closing costs.
Yeah, and thank you so much. I mean, all great information. There's free money out there for people who qualify, and I'm sure everyone's asking for Robert's contact information in the chat right now. We will make sure that it's available for you guys, so you can reach out. I'm sure there's a lot of different scenarios that you guys would like to run through with him for your potential buyers there, and there will be an opportunity for us to share that contact information with you. We do have one more product that I wanted to introduce you guys to. Many homeowners are facing challenges to homeownership. We're dedicated to finding solutions. A few years ago, we introduced our Choice Renovation product, a solution for aged housing stock that we're starting to see across the U.S. It's designed for borrowers who are looking for a convenient and cost-saving way to refinance their home purchase and renovation costs in a single closing transaction. We know that location is very important to some of our diverse buyers. So when they find a home in the preferred neighborhood, they might need home might need a little TLC, might need a little bit of an upgrade to make sure that it fits their family. And so we also think that, there's a lot of millennial home buyers out there that have this dream of home ownership. And they might find a home, and again, in a neighborhood that they like, that might want to make their own updates or their own upgrades to the home that they prefer. And Choice Renovation is a product that can help them do that. Let's see. Now, you can use Choice Renovation to renovate or repair a home. It can pay for soft costs related to permits or drawing inspections. You can also use it to pay for resilient upgrades, including retaining walls, foundation retrofitting, storm drain surge barriers. It's also a great product to renovate or repair a home after a natural disaster, so a hurricane, a fire, different things like that it can be used for as well. Now, here on this slide, we have a list of some eligible renovations. We do have some restrictions as well. You can't bulldoze a house down and raise a completely brand new dwelling, but it can't be used for personal property, with the exception of new appliances. So I'm going to bring Robert back on so we can have a conversation about our Choice Renovation product. It's a very exciting something. Prime Lending is one of our strong partners as it relates to our Choice Renovation product. And so I'm sure Robert's excited to share some information. So Robert, from your experience, as a lender, what sort of repairs are you seeing firsthand when some buyers are using this renovation lending product?
Gotcha. We've seen many, many different types of renovations, from just updating a home all the way through. We need a new roof. We need to add a bedroom, because a lot of places, someone will find a home that they really like in a certain area, great location, but the house needs an extra bedroom. They can actually add on to the home. They can do a garage. They can do an ADU above that garage. So there's many, many different things that they can do, from just renovating a home that is aged to really transforming a home into what they need.
Absolutely. And going back to those diverse buyers, we know that a lot of minority communities live in multi-generational households. And so this is a great opportunity to bring in, grandma or, in-laws, or, an additional family to build that together in that home. And we know that that's very common with our Hispanic and Asian home buyers as well. So this is a great resource for them. Robert, can you share with us how real estate professionals might go about inquiring, working with lenders who offer Choice Renovation?
Well, I would say that they would really want to talk to their preferred lender that they typically use. Ask them the question, do they do renovation? If they get glazed over in the eyes as they ask that question, you probably should ask someone else, because if they don't do it on a regular basis, can be a difficult program to get to the end. And they want to make sure that the company that they're working with has a support staff. As for Prime Lending, we have a whole department that handles our construction and renovation. That's all they do, and they're very, very good at it. So we can make a transaction close typically in just about the same time frame as a regular transaction. So that really is what you should need to do your homework on the lender that you're using.
Absolutely. And is there a current condition of the property is that a key consideration when using a renovation loan? Do you guys care what the property looks like?
Really not. There's certain things that we do want to see. Obviously, you can't tear it all the way down and start from scratch, like as you already said that. But for the most part, it can be a complete fixer, or it can be a home that was just built in the 70s, has not been renovated since, and someone says, I love the bones of this property, but I need to really make this mine. And they can do just about anything that they need to do. Like I said, with the septic system, if we have a failed septic, we can fix that. There's, you just, like I said, you use your imagination and you can pretty much do it.
Absolutely. And I mean, some of the products I know, solar panels, is that allowed?
It absolutely is. As long as it's attached to the
Oh,
property, then you can do it.
another question we usually get when we talk about this is pools. Excuse me. Here in California, you know, it's important. In some of the desert areas, I'm not sure how many people like to have pools up there in the Washington state, but would a
Exactly.
pool be considered okay?
As long as it's a built-in pool, if it's attached to the property, yes.
Absolutely. Okay. And then, you know, you're the lender, you are the expert, but why should real estate professionals invest in learning about choice renovation and products like this to help grow their business?
Well, I would say that with the limited inventory that's out there, you're going to run into, and I guess the question is how many times have you had a customer say, if the property only had X? Well, with the product like this, you can do that. You know, if a property doesn't have a garage and they say, hey, I would really love this house if it only had a garage, you need to bring in a project or a product like this, and you can solve that problem. If you can solve the problem, you can sell a property, and then everybody's happy.
Love it. Great, great answer. Again, we're here to provide you guys the tools and resources to help you guys turn more of your potential clients into those homeowners and that sustainable home ownership. Again, we're here to build generational wealth through home ownership and by providing tools and resources like this for you to go out and search for that dream home for your client. You know, we are providing that for you. Thank you, Robert. I know we're going to stick around in case we have some more
Thank you.
questions from the audience. I'm going to close out really quickly with just a few more of our resources here that we provide to real estate professionals. And Robert and I will be available after our panel to answer any questions. So all the resources that I'm covering with you guys today are free to you. They're designed to help you as a real estate professional and your buyer on their homeownership journey. So the first is our Credit Smart. Credit Smart is financial education. And I look at Credit Smart in three different ways. The first is the Credit Smart Essentials. Credit Smart Essentials is that financial education that's going to teach people how to become better money managers. It received a facelift last year. There's 20 different modules that cover, you know, restoring your credit, saving for a down payment, car loans, saving for retirement, all sorts of different things that are going to help buyers or potential anybody to become better money managers. It's a great financial tool for you guys to share with buyers who just want to understand a little bit more about the process. It's a great tool as well if you have a child who's just embarking on their college journey in the fall and you want to make sure that they're prepared. Have them go through this Credit Smart essentials so that they can understand the importance of managing their finances. It's free. It's available online, and it's free for everyone. The second is Credit Smart Homebuyer U. Credit Smart Homebuyer U is the home buying process. So walks them through the home buying process. So if you have a product that is a first-time homebuyer product that might require a first-time homebuyer education, Homebuyer U is free. It's also available in Spanish. It's 6 modules and it covers that entire home buying process. What's going to be expected from them, the types of questions the lenders might be asking them, so that they're not shocked when these people are asking for all of these financial documents. It's also great. We know that people who go through homebuyer education are more likely to stay in the home. And again, that's what we're creating, that sustainable home ownership to build that generational wealth. So I encourage you guys to provide this resource to anybody who's in their home buying journey right now to get this free education about what to expect. And then we also have Credit Smart Coach. It's where you as a real estate professional can become certified to teach Credit Smart in your community. If you follow the link, again, this website, the presentation will be available for you afterwards. So I'll be able to provide the links. You can sign up to get certified so that you can teach Credit Smart in your community. And then our last is our Real Estate Professionals Resource Center. Everything that we cover today is free to you. We want to be a resource for you as you continue to make the dream of homeownership happen for so many people. Connect with us. What we share are news, insights, upcoming trainings that are going to help you gain more additional knowledge and resources for you to help your buyers. So thank you so much. Robert and I are going to stick around. And Lexi, I'll pass it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica and Robert. Wow, you guys shared so much information. And I really loved the slides where you said everything, a lot of the programs and opportunities are free. I mean, why wouldn't our real estate professionals take advantage of learning more about these products? Because that's how they help their communities grow, right? So I believe we have shared your contact information in the chat box. So our listeners are hoping that you guys took some really good notes and that you are going to be able to just go ahead and reach out to Robert and to Monica and learn more about how they can continue to equip you with the tools and the knowledge to help your communities grow. So now I have the pleasure of kicking off our next segment where I'm going to welcome two panelists, two real estate industry leaders that I am so excited to have a conversation with to learn how they are impacting their communities and how they're growing their business. So I would like to welcome Vicki and Tony. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining today's event. I am going to kick it off to Vicki first so that you can introduce yourself. Please share where you're coming from and maybe a fun fact about yourself. Go ahead, Vicki.
Excellent. Thanks, Lexi. Hi, I'm Vicki Monteagudo, owner and designated broker here at Century 21 Tri-Cities. We're located basically in the center point between Seattle and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Fun fact, come August, it'll be my 20th year in real estate. And so very excited about the next 20 years.
Wow, 20 years in the business. Congratulations to you and to your office. That is wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction, Vicki. And Tony, I'd like to kick it over to you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tony from Fresh Look Real Estate. I am the founder of Fresh Look Real Estate, founded in 2016. Currently up and going still. And fun fact, I coach high select soccer for Seattle United here out in Seattle. So I personally live in Bellevue, Washington, near Seattle, about 20 minutes out of Seattle. But that's my fun fact.
That's wonderful. I'm going to have to hear how you juggle both your business and the soccer and how you impact your community. So I'm going to come back to you soon too.
Perfect.
All right. So wonderful. Thank you both again for your availability and for joining and for sharing your experiences and your expertise. So I'd like to kick off the conversation with ladies first. Vicki, I would like to learn something about you and about your office. And as I shared in our introduction to, kicking off this event, I'm a NAREP 10 certified trainer. And what that means is I get to share 10 disciplines that NAREP, which is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, along with the Hispanic Wealth Project, they made these 10 disciplines for anyone to learn and to share and to see how they can lead better financial and healthier lives. And one of their disciplines is the following. It says, be in the top 10% of your profession, because being good enough is never enough. And now I like to share a fun fact about your office, Vicki, and I hope you don't mind that I'm doing this, but your office in 2021 won the Grand Centurion Office, which is the highest level of Centurion that we can award. And so to give it to our audience a little bit more perspective as to what that means that your office achieved a minimum of 7.7 million in adjusted gross commissions, or 1,311 award units. That's just the minimum. And so for your office to achieve that in 2021, I think that is simply amazing. But you as an individual broker as well, you achieved double centurion. So congratulations to both your office and to yourself for such a wonderful awarding year. So I'd like to know, because obviously you're a great example about staying on top of your profession, what kind of advice can you share as to how you did that? How did you encourage your agents to go out there and get that production? And, how has that impacted your business?
Yeah, thank you very much. So I got started, again, this August will be my 20th year. And I focus, and I always say there's always riches in niches. So I specialize in land acquisition and community developments, which means that we pair developments that we do and with builders, and then we begin their product planning. Always envisioning what that end consumer is going to look like and what their median household income is going to look like, and we build that into our performas. So in the Tri-Cities, unlike a lot of different markets, we do a lot of new construction. Our territory for Century 21 Tri-Cities spans from Tri-Cities through Walla Walla up to Yakima. And we do, like I said, we focus on new construction, but that's only about 35% of our overall business. The other 65% is resale, traditional resale pre-owned properties.
That's wonderful. That sounds like great opportunities, and it looks like you're in a great area to help continue to grow your business. And how do you encourage your agents, I guess, to continue those relationships with those investors, with the marketplace? How do you encourage them to keep growing?
Yeah, as a broker owner, I really focus on per agent productivity. I know a lot of brokerages focus on, what is their head count for their offices. And again, going back to the Century 21 per agent productivity awards, I really focus on career developing our agents. It's not just a secondary job, it's the career, because as they become career focused and they're specialists, then by nature of their relationships that they're developing, it becomes very, very far reaching.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Vicki. I'd like to now kick it over to Tony. So, Tony, I learned in getting to know you a little better that you are the NAREP Seattle chapter president. And I love that. I love that you are part of the association as well. And I want to learn, how does that role help you make impacts in your community and help your business grow?
Oh, wow. I mean, I can go on and on about it, but primarily I would say is the relationships that you build or lifetime building. So you have relationships that you nurture, and a little bit of what Vicky was saying is that the it's about relationships and creating relationships for the long term. So not only are you creating relationships with the NARP affiliates, different brokerages, learning from them and whatnot, it impacts the community because you see the joy and the impact that you're having. Just by servicing in our case a Hispanic community, but not only that, like NARP's belief system is, they really encourage ownership for everybody. And so I think, it's a long winded way of saying, it all blends together. Um, the relationships are so key that they just naturally build your book of business. They naturally build giving back to the community, and it just enhances what you're doing on a day to day basis.
Wonderful. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with everything that you said there. And I'm happy to hear you say the community, right? How it is impacting your community. And, as another discipline with the part of the NARA 10 disciplines is about philanthropy, and it's about being generous with our community, right? It's not always about, digging in your pockets and giving to something. It's also valuable to give of your experience, to give other ways back to your community to help them grow. And so Tony, I'm going to stick with you with this question. Learning that discipline, right, about being generous with those that are not who are less fortunate, right? How do you, either personally or as with your business, how do you help your community elevate?
Oh wow! I mean, you know, taking time. I mean, really scheduling it. Like I said, I coach soccer and I do it. I always joke around. They're kind to give me a tiny bit of a stipend, but I always joke because we have tolls going across the bridge. It costs me more money to coach them than what they're giving back to me. But that kind of goes back to the disciplines that we're talking about. Is always wanting to give back. I think the being generous is a key impact, and I think that's one of the many ways that I try to give back to the community. As far as, since we're talking about housing, it's so impactful to provide information to our community. It's impactful to, and again, when I say community, everybody that surrounds us. So giving back information that is valuable, that running through the process, taking a person that, and there is such an immense amount of non-information that people have, and it shocks me that schools and people raising kids and everything don't show financial information to the younger generations. But there's such misinformation that going through that process with a potential client and seeing them come from, lacking or thin credit, as the first part of the segment was saying, to now we have trade lines and we have established credits, to even getting them together with a financial planner, really starting to create that wealth process, uh, acquiring their house, acquiring their second house, and now I have people that I'm starting to acquire their third house with, and having that relationship in the long term has been, one of the greatest satisfactions that I've personally had. Um, and for me to see them, the third or fourth iteration is starting to really be impactful in my life. That you know, it's a long game, not just a short game of what we're doing here.
That was perfect how you said that, Tony. And yeah, and I love how Freddie Mac offers these opportunities, as Monica shared, there's education there. Free education, for you to, again, to bring back to your community. You could do meet and greets, you could do lunch and learns, you could do so much within your community by just having that information, and again, helping that home ownership grow. And also, as Monica shared, the diverse markets, their growth and their impacts and how it's looking now. It's definitely an opportunity for real estate to get into those marketplaces and understand those marketplaces. So Vicki, I have a question for you, and it is about serving that diverse market. How do you personally, or how do you equip your agents to help serve those diverse markets?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So on our market, it's very diverse. As far as our major employers here in our region, it goes from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. So one of our largest employers here in our region is Pacific Northwest National Lab. So we have some of the most PhDs per capita. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we're pretty famous for the amount of ag that we do here with potato growth, corn, orchards, and then we're also on the map with our Columbia Valley wine AVA. And so culturally, because of those type of employment opportunities, the diversity is abound, and it's great to be able to witness that great diversity in our market. In the culture of our office, one of the major stakeholders in that is weaving philanthropy into the culture of our company. And with that being said, we do have a PR and events director. And in the month of April, we did about 13 different activities. We actually built a page within our website, just white labeled philanthropy, because there was so much going on. We encourage all of our agents to basically select a passion project of theirs. So currently we're running a baby formula campaign because of the shortage of formula, as we all know. Here soon, right before school starts, we have 500 kids that can sign up and register that are in kind of a disadvantaged position to be able to register for free backpacks and school supplies. We do a lot with other disadvantaged groups, whether it be medical, like ALS. We did a hike just last month on Badger Mountain for cancer awareness and raising funds. And so that's just weaved into the culture of our company. I believe that if you're going to serve a community, you've got to be able to be on the front lines with that community as you build it. And so that's some of the things that we do. The other thing that I'm pretty proud of is I'm on the executive committee where we each year team up with the city of Pasco, with the Pasco High and the Chiawana High School, and we have students that build a school, or excuse me, build a house every year. So we source the land, and they're responsible from everywhere to foundation to completion. And at the end, between August and May, we do an open house, and then we sell it on the open market. And we waive our commissions in support of the program, so that way that all that money goes back to scholarships to the students that built the house.
Wow, that is simply amazing. And I commend you and your office for doing that, for being those type of leaders in your community. And, and I love how you said, you have to be in the front lines with your community, right? And I think, that also helps with, your community trusting you. You're coming from a good place, you're coming with a genuine heart, and you're there with the community, understanding their needs, and you're there to help try to find solutions, right? So I absolutely love that. So thanks so much for sharing that, Vicki. We do have a few minutes left. So actually, Tony, if you wouldn't mind, can you share how you or your office, impacts or serve that diverse, market that you are currently in?
So it's really interesting. Our my firm has we we call it the United Colors of Benetton. I don't know if it's for the older generation. That's a long time, but it's very multicultural. And what we do is a lot of potlucks and community outreach. And so what we do is host picnics for the community at local parks or areas, and let everybody in the community come do a potluck style. And it's really beautiful to see. And we do it primarily during spring and summertime. It's been a little hard with COVID the last few years, but that's something, an outreach that we do to the community. Another thing that we do, and we really tout, living life as a contribution, is donating time to shelters. And so we'll go out as a team and go to local homeless shelters and serve dinner, provide the dinners for them, and all those doing those outreaches. I mean, we really try to keep it private because we really don't want to boast it as a social media thing, or it really comes from a source of contribution for us. And so we really are selective about what we pick and what we want to do as a group and as a team, and then we just go out and do it. And we don't do it, like I said, for social media or anything else. We keep it really personal, and that's what we do to help continue to contribute to the general community.
Love that, Tony. Again, congratulations, and a heartfelt thank you to you and your office for doing that for your community. I'm sure that they welcome it, and they are very grateful for those opportunities that you give them. So again, this is why you guys were invited to this Agents of Change. I mean, all these experiences that you guys are sharing, I hope that our listeners are taking notes, and maybe you sparked some ideas or inspired them to see how else they can help serve their communities. So I do have one last question, and then we'll open it up to Q&A from our listeners. So Vicki, I'll start with you. And Tony, it's going to be the same question for you, all right? So Vicki,
Okay.
what kind of advice do you have for a real estate professional seeking to impact the community and business?
I would say you just need to get one with your community. You've got to figure out what drives you and what's your why, and be passionate about it, and be very and serve it with intent.
I love those keywords that you use there, serve the intent and be passionate about it, right? Because if you're not passionate or genuine about it, it's going to be perceived that way. And that trust isn't there, right? So great advice. Thank you so much, Vicki. And Tony, what would you say? What would you share as advice?
Oh wow. I think building those relationships, as I was speaking about before, is really creating relationships that you care about. And it should be that way in business in general, in my opinion, now. Um, Serving your community should be something that comes a little bit like what Vicky was saying, from your heart, from with intent. Um, so for me, it's less about doing something huge or big, or oh, I have to host a 300-person event. It's about doing daily contributions, whether it's feeding a homeless person, whether it's going and doing your community service, coaching, uh, doing. There's so many avenues you can take. Teaching kids how to play music, teaching art if that's your craft, really finding what you're good at and what your higher being gifts that you've been given, um, and using that and giving back. And so contribution doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're going to change the world, but doing something, just something little, an everyday thing that can be kind towards somebody else. To me, that's contribution, and just not making it about some grandiose thing, but just living your life that way, and just being part of people's lives. So
Yeah, I truly believe that, again, yes, it doesn't have to be grandiose. Every little thing, even as simple as a smile, believe it or not. Like, I love that. I like sharing smiles and laughs, because it could just help somebody's mood. And right then and there, you're making some kind of change for that person, right? Like, it doesn't have to be anything big. Any little thing helps and can make a big impact. Thank you both again for sharing your experiences. I truly enjoyed this, and I know for sure our listeners have as well. And so, what I'd like to do now is I do have a few questions lined up from the audience. So, if we can bring all of our panelists back. Welcome back, Robert and Monica. It's nice to have you guys here again. I do have a few questions, and actually, I'll direct them to you if you guys wouldn't mind sharing what your responses would be. So, the first question comes from Grace, and she would like to know, and I think this is directed to both Vicky and to Tony. I would love to you both share your expertise on this. How do you recruit and grow top agents?
I would say it's with the programming that we provide here at Center 21 Tri-Cities. It's very structured in the environment that we have. I feel like, especially during COVID, people feel comforted in structure. So, for example, one of our programs that we offer is the Century 21 Certified Pre-Owned Property Program. And so we basically have re-engineered that progressive purchase path for a consumer rather than making an offer on a property and then guesstimating price and then going through the 10-day inspection period. What we do as a company is that Century 21 Certified Pre-Owned Property will be with a third-party home inspector inspected before it actually goes live on the market. And then at that point, our agents have an opportunity for a coaching moment with the seller to determine, in order to maximize equity, what items that they're willing to tackle with a licensed and bonded contractor. And so that way, when a prospective buyer is making an offer, they know it's almost pretty identical to a Carfax report. They know what the condition of the property is before making that offer. And it also, if you think about it, an average inspection in our area costs about $450. And when you really drill it down per hourly income for somebody that's trying to buy a house, in some instances, that's almost 2.5 days worth of them working another job to pay for that home inspection. So we take that off their plate, and then we also supplement it with a 1-year home warranty. So I think that's some of the impact that we make with our agents, is really streamlining the back end processing for our real estate transactions. And I think that is one of those things that set us apart in our market.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing those insights. And again, I'm hoping our listeners are taking notes, because I do believe, again, your insights are wonderful, and hopefully they're taking notes on this. So, Tony, the same question for you. How do you try to recruit and maintain and grow top agents?
So I love what Vicky said earlier before is, she's not about the numbers. It's more about the quality of the person and the agent. I really do a deep dive before we hire on. And, it comes down to dollars and cents. This is now the business aspect of it. But really, what it comes down to is, what's your cost per agent to bring them on? And are you willing to pay that to have a good agent? And so, if you ask yourself that question as a broker, um, you'll find a lot of answers in that. And so, when I interview brokers, I get really thorough with them. Like, hey, what's your current situation? What's your current life situation? How are you going to handle this? Are you ready for the next 6 months to a year to grow a business? And so people need to realize that this is a business. It's not something that they're just going to start getting leads and producing. And in some cases, you do start getting leads, but if you are giving them leads, how good are they at preparing for them? And what information and what path are we going to put you on? I think it's really important to make sure that when hiring agents, that we know what path they're going to be on, and can we be a value add to that agent? Can we continue to coach and grow them, or is it, or what are they really looking for, and what can you provide for them on that journey? And really, how I do it is through a diagram. Like, we have stages, a little bit like what Vicky said, a growth stage. Like, stage one is setting up your business. Stage two is learning XYZ. Stage three is going out and executing it. Stage four would be, actually acquiring the client. And um, and it goes in different paths because some come in as experienced agents. Then what value add am I providing them? What is it that they're lacking from their other brokerage? And what can I provide them for them to help them grow? And is it a right fit? Sometimes I've had agents I wanted to join, and I just don't feel it's a right fit because whether they're looking for something else in their path of life right now or whatnot. But you also have to not just acquire agents to acquire agents. So I think getting high quality agents is more important than trying to acquire 100 agents that you're not going to be able to serve and aren't going to be able to serve you. So sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's how I see it.
Don't apologize for that. Again, you're sharing these nuggets. These are valuable insights that you're sharing. So don't apologize for that. So thank you, Tony. All right. So I do have another question here, and it's from Jennifer. And I think this could be, Robert and Monica, if you guys wouldn't mind maybe tapping into this question. And it says, are there any product changes expected due to the volatile environment that we are in? And I know, Monica, in your presentation, you gave us the opportunity to learn more about Freddie Mac's affordable product solutions. Do you kind of want to touch upon that again to kind of revisit that?
Absolutely. So really quickly, I definitely want to remind everyone again, we don't lend directly. We are in the secondary mortgage market. So if you, want additional details, please reach out to your lending partners. They are the experts when it comes to our products as well. They're just following our guide. So they are 100% your go-to when it comes to understanding a lot of our products. But they are really solutions for, those low to moderate income buyers who have trouble saving for a down payment, getting into a home for as little as 3% down, as well as the renovation products that we cover today, all solutions to really that are geared towards helping people that are low to moderate income. And then, we have new updates always coming out. Subscribe to our subscription center. You're going to hear the latest and greatest as it relates to different AMI limits or new products that we're coming out with. We also just launched our equity plan, a quality and housing plan. So I encourage you guys to go and see what we're doing in that particular space. But we are, at the edge of, creating opportunities and building up more in the housing market. So honored to be here today. And again, like I said, Robert's a great resource if you want to have one-on-one conversations with him so that you can get up to date and familiar with some of these products. on a local level, I highly recommend to reach out, and he'd be a resource for you there in the local market.
Awesome. Thank you, Monica. Well, we are at time. Thank you again, Vicki, Tony, Robert, and Monica for your time and for sharing your experiences and your insights. Thank you guys for joining today's Agents of Change event. We hope to have another session soon and hope you join us then. Thank you again and have a wonderful weekend.